Howdy folks, and welcome to Hawkmar Outdoors.
And on this episode, this is part 2 of our deer season prep. We're getting the old crossbow sighted in, so
y'all stay tuned. Just to go over a little bit about the crossbow I'm using this season, I'm using the Excalibur Ibex. And this was Excalibur's entry model probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I'm not sure, I don't think they make this particular model anymore. But it's still sending arrows out about 305 feet per second, and it has a 175 pound draw weight. I've had this bow, like I said, 6 or 7 years. I've killed several deer with it. Pretty comfortable with it, but I do understand its limitations. It's not the fastest bow out there. I try to keep my shots within 30 yards or so. Other than that, I mean, it's been a solid bow. Probably see myself upgrading in a couple years, but we're going to use it this year again.
the rig I'm going to be using this year is the Excalibur Micro Mag 340. Has a 270 pound draw weight, 340 FPS, and weighs 5 pounds. I guess this would be a step above their entry level. The entry level has a polymer frame. This one has the aluminum. I haven't crossbow hunted, and this is going to be my first year trying this out. We'll see what we can do.
To load up your Excalibur crossbow, it's pretty easy. Despite its heavy draw weight, just about anybody can load this. You want to start by putting your foot through that stirrup down there. Then you'll, all these Excaliburs include this little cocking mechanism. Take a hook, hook it onto your string. It comes to the back side of your bow here. There's a little slot. And then you'll put the other hook on the other side of your riser. Simply just grab these handles. It's got little pulleys on those hooks. Just pull it up. Put your safety on. Slide your arrow on there. Your bolt. And you're ready to go. Unlike a lot of the compound crossbows, these Excaliburs can be unloaded without firing into like an unloading target. First, you'll take your arrow off. Go ahead and put your foot back through that stirrup. Take your hook, hook the string, hook the other side, and go ahead and hold tension on only one side here. You take your safety off, pull the trigger, and slowly let that string back down.
We got our target set out there about 20 yards now. We have measured out to 30 as well, and that's what we're going to be sighting in, 20 and 30.
Now, even though I've had this bow sighted in for several years now, I always take several shots leading up to hunting season to make sure it's still on. You know, different variables. The string got another year on it. The scope could have got knocked around in the off season. And plus, there is a level of skill, despite what some people think about crossbow hunting, that goes into making a good shot with a crossbow. It's not just putting a scope on target and pulling a trigger. There is some level of skill that goes into this. So let's give it a shot. Should be pretty close, hopefully. Bullseye.
I'll get my crossbow sighted in. Mara said these take a little bit of skill. Crossbow scopes, they have graduations on them, and in this one it's little triangles, and that's for different yardage. You can't just point and shoot at most targets. You're going to have a little bit of skill and a little bit of knowledge of your scope. But I'm going to try to shoot here, get this thing sighted in, see what we can do. This is at 20 yards.
Just a little bit about this target that we're using today. It's the Ironman crossbow target. This one's set up just for crossbows. If you use your crossbow on a traditional archery target, your bolt's gonna zip right through it. But this one, it's heavy duty. It even says it's military grade. I thought that was against the Geneva Convention, but maybe not. One of the biggest draws of this is the 2-finger pull out. Okay? Arrows come straight out. If you're using more than 2 fingers to pull out, you probably need a better target. Pretty solid at 20 yards. Went ahead and drug the old target back another 10 yards. I'm going to try 30. A little bit more about the skill that goes into shooting a crossbow. You have to keep your limbs pretty level. If you start tilting your crossbow at all, that's going to throw your shot off. So you want to try to keep your limbs as level as you can. Alright, in the middle.
Well, I'm going to try to eliminate as many variables as possible. When I was standing up, I was kind of shooting a little bit low, and so I'm going to try to get a little more points of contact. See what we can do. Ooh, that's good.
Drilled it.
Drilled it.
The other side of the target has the anatomy of a deer. It shows roughly where the heart and the lungs are, so we're going to take a few shots at that side too.
So Carrie's going to be taking a shot with mine. Let's see what she can do on the anatomy target here.
There you go.
There we go.
Anybody that's kind of wondering, I'm going to be using the 16-inch center punch Evo X bolt with a Grim Reaper 100 grain broadhead. That's what I'm using this year. And we're going to see from the field points to this if it's changed much. Pretty much everything was good at 20. Now we're going to 30 for me with the broadheads. Let's try her out. Good.
Everything seems pretty good, but we do have our broadheads on here, and I'm going to take my 30-yard shot. We're finding out that the arrows do perform a little different at 30 yards with broadheads versus field points, so should be good to go here. I'm not going to go over every piece of gear that I take when I go early archery hunting, but I'm going to give you my top 3 picks. Number 1, be my scent killer. Number 2, thermocell. There's still a lot of mosquitoes out right now. Up there. And number 3, a rangefinder. So that's my top 3 picks. I could basically go out in the woods with just these 3 things and my crossbow and be perfectly content. The rest of it adds to it, but really this is what I need for early archery and my top 3 picks. Well, there you have it, folks, our early archery prep.
Got both our crossbows sighted in. Meyer went over his top 3 essentials for the crossbow season.
Yeah, and be watching. There's going to be another deer prep video coming up, probably in a month or so when we get ready for rifle season. That starts in November. So by the time you're watching this, deer season is going to be upon us. We're going to be out there bow hunting.
But I want to thank y'all for coming along. If you made it this far, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank y'all for that you do. Y'all have a good one.